which relates the wavelength and frequency. You see how the wave formula relates the wavelength and frequency. So first of all, we will observe the spectrum of light. Then we will see the wave relationship for light. So for light or for any wave, we know this for any wave, we know that wave velocity of any object is given by f lambda, where f represents the frequency. F is the frequency of radiation or whatever thing we are talking of. So f is the frequency and lambda is the wavelength. So the frequency of any object is dependent on the source. The frequency emitted is dependent on the source. What is the frequency emitted by the source? And wavelength, that is the characteristics of the wave. Okay. So wavelength is the characteristic of the wave. Frequency is also the characteristics of the wave. Frequency in particular, it represents the energy. If you want to know what does frequency represent, so frequency is representing energy of a substance, energy of a wave. So higher the frequency, higher will be the energy of any wave. Okay. So the energy of any wave is directly proportional to the frequency. Wavelength is a characteristics of a wave. It depends on the wave velocity. So the very important formula, wave velocity is equal to f lambda. So sometimes we write it V is equals to f lambda. So this formula, this is a universal formula which you can use for a sound wave or for a light wave or any of them. Especially when we use this formula for light. So let's see what happens with the case of light. So for light, we know that the speed of light in air is denoted by the symbol c, which is a constant. So speed of light in air is given by f lambda. Since the speed of light is a constant, so the product of frequency and wavelength will be a constant. Like whether if you are talking of the red light, violet light, whatever light you talk of, VIBGYOR we are talking of. So I'm talking of here VIBGYOR in air, all these colors, they travel with same speed. Travel with same speed in air. So here frequency times wavelength is a constant, and since frequency is dependent only on the source, but not on the observer. For light or for any object, the frequency is dependent only on the source. Now, if I observe the spectrum of light, in the spectrum of light, violet has the highest frequency. The violet color, it has, this is a point to be remembered, that violet has highest frequency. Highest frequency. And red has the least frequency. So you can say that VIBGYOR is arranged in the form of decreasing frequencies. It is arranged in the form of decreasing frequency. That is, from violet will have the highest frequency, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. Okay. So which of the colors will have the highest energy? Which color should possess the highest energy?
Sir, red.
Red. See, I told that energy is directly proportional. Which one?
Violet.
Violet. See, I told you that energy is directly dependent on frequency. So frequency and energy, they are directly dependent. So if higher the frequency, higher the energy. And when I say that violet has the highest frequency, so that means violet has the highest energy. Okay. Also, the product of frequency and wavelength is a constant. So if I have a high frequency, so that substance should have a low wavelength. So if violet color has highest frequency, so it should have the least wavelength. So which color has the least wavelength? Yes, which color has the least wavelength?
Violet.
Yeah, violet has the least wavelength and red has the maximum wavelength. So you can also say that this Vibgyor is arranged in the order of increasing wavelength or decreasing frequency. Got it now? So just remember that our Vibgyor, it is arranged in the order of here. You have increasing wavelength. It is arranged in the order of increasing wavelength and it is arranged in the order of decreasing frequency. So from red to violet, this is your frequency. Your frequency goes like this. Red will have the least frequency and violet will have the maximum frequency. In terms of wavelength, red will have the least maximum wavelength and violet will have the minimum wavelength. So understood this concept of frequency and wavelength. Our violet color has a wavelength of about 450 nanometer. It has a wavelength of about 450 nanometer, whereas red has a wavelength of around 700 to 750 nanometer. So this is how it occurs. Now, why we are looking for the frequency, why we are looking for the wavelength, and why we are going to study the colors of light. The reason is that we are studying here the chapter Human Eye and the Colorful World. What we are studying? Colorful world, not the black and white world. Here we are not just interested in reflection. We are not just interested in how the image is formed. We are interested of what color the image will be formed. Okay, what will be the colors which I see and how I see. Okay, so we have this chapter as Human Eye and the Colorful World. So see, we are saying here colorful world. Why we are saying the colorful world?
Sir, could you show the next page? I'm still writing.
Yeah, sure. I'm coming to this.
Okay, sir.
So our next page is this one. Video. They are arranged in the order of increasing wavelength and decreasing frequency. So this spectrum of light, whatever the spectrum of light we are discussing, this spectrum of light waveguide, it is called as the visible spectrum. It is called the visible spectrum of light. Visible spectrum. Visible spectrum means how the light is visible. Okay, so that is the visible spectrum of light. So there are other light waves also which are present, like you have the ultraviolet rays, you have X rays, you have gamma rays, but those are the radiations which are not visible. You also have microwaves, you also have radio waves, but they are not visible waves. The waves which are visible, which we generally call as light, is the visible spectrum of the light waveguide. Okay. So especially when I say light, so light does not only mean this waveguide, it means the complete electromagnetic wave. We are talking of the all electromagnetic waves. Okay. But for your grade 10, when I say light, so light just means this waveguide. Understood? So for a broad category, when I say light, it means all the electromagnetic waves. It includes ultraviolet waves, it includes X-rays, it includes gamma rays. Everything is included here. Microwaves, radio waves, all of them, they are light. But for your grade 10, when I say light, it is only the visible portion of the light which I am talking about. Understood this?
Yes, sir.
So okay. So we have here 7 colors of the light, and due to these 7 colors, we are able to observe the colorful world. We are able to see the different colors around us. Since the light consists itself consists of 7 colors, so whatever component of light is reflected from a surface, that is the color we observe. For example, if you observe a yellow colored object under a blue colored light, so that object will not appear yellow. Maybe that object can appear red. Maybe that object can appear of some other color. Right? So whatever color we are observing around us, that is because of out of this waveguide, which component is reflected and in how much quantity that component is reflected. So depending on that, we are able to observe the colors around us. Okay. So have you understood how we are able to see the different colors?
Yes.
Yes, so this was a part of light which we have understood that because of the light being consisting of the 7 colors which were demonstrated by the Newton's disk. So I'll show you a Newton's disk. How does a Newton's disk look like? Just see here, how does a Newton's disk look like? Which we also call as the color wheel. See, this is your Newton's disk. Also the color wheel. You have all the waveguide, which are your 7 colors. Violet, starting from violet, indigo, blue, green, you have all the colors. So this is your waveguide, not this one. This is actually your waveguide. Yeah, this is waveguide. Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. So these are the 7 colors. If you try to make this at your home, if you try to make this at your home, taking out these 7 colors, make this a circular disc and try to rotate it with the help of a motor or with the help of a flywheel. As you can see, there are different diagrams. So if you try to rotate it, you will come to see a white color. Okay. So all the colors when observed, they produce when all colors are mixed together, you will observe white color. So it was demonstrated by this disk that the light consists of 7 colors. The visible light, it consists of 7 colors, which we also call as the waveguide. So understood this visible spectrum of light or electromagnetic waves?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what all we should remember from this portion? We should remember about the frequency. We should be able to remember about the frequency, and we should be able to remember about the wavelength, frequency, wavelength, and the common formula which we have discussed, that frequency multiply wavelength is a constant. So if you multiply frequency and wavelength, this is a constant. Frequency multiply wavelength is a constant, and this is equal to the wave velocity. For light, this is equal to the speed of light. So Which color has the maximum frequency? Yes, which color has the maximum frequency?
Red.
Maximum frequency is violet and minimum frequency is red. So maximum frequency is violet, minimum frequency is red, maximum wavelength is red, and minimum wavelength is violet. So this is the only thing which we need to remember from this portion, whatever we have studied till now. Now the next portion is how we are able to see this. How can we see different colors? Yes, anyone? Can anyone tell how we are able to see the objects? Yes, how we are able to
Sir,
see
could you
different
show the
objects?
previous page, sir? Last word I was writing.
Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now can we see any objects without our eye? Yes,
No,
is it
sir.
possible to see? No. So these are the only two things which are involved in vision. That is, we have our eye, human eye. So human eye is what and the light. So light we have already seen that light consists of 7 colors and whatever part is reflected. So that is the part of light that we see. Okay. Now let us see about our eye. What is so special about our eye? How can we see the different objects using eye? So you must have seen different diagrams of eye. Here I will show you two diagrams of eye which will make you clear about what things we are discussing. So human eye, it is also an optical instrument. It is optical instrument obviously, and human eye, it consists of a lens and certain nerves. Okay, so let us see what all the human eye consists of. We instead of drawing, I will take a picture of the human eye in two ways. So there are two ways of human eye. The one which you see and the one which we get, one which is our complete eye. So what we see from the front is this portion. This is what we see. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now in this portion, if we observe this portion, so let us say what all will be the different portions of the human eye. You see. So here we are going to label what are the different things. This white portion of the human eye, which we observe, you observe here a colorful portion around the eye. So here this one looks to be brown. Maybe yours doesn't look brown. Maybe yours looks blue. Maybe yours looks green. Okay. And you have this a black portion in the middle. Okay. So what are the names for these? This white color which we observe, this is called the sclera. The black ones which we observe in the center is the pupil. And this colorful part is the iris. Okay. Of course, you have the other parts also, like you have the eyelids here. The eyelids help our eyes in protecting them. So you have the eyelids. Eyelashes are also there. So these are our eyelids. You have eyelashes. These are our eyelashes. These are eyelashes. Then here at the corners, you have some glands, specialized tissues which help in the secret, which are glands. They secrete some fluids. They secrete some fluids into the eye for its cleaning and other purposes. Okay. So generally, this is what we should be aware of eye and what we see in our eyes from the front. Okay. Now, if I take out this eye out of your skull, so this eye is spherical in shape. Okay. So eye being spherical in shape, and now we observe the same eye from the side. We are not observing it from this front. We observe the same eye from the side, and let's see what are the different parts which we observe then. So then our human eye, it looks something like this. This one. Human eye anatomy. So here we have everything is marked in this diagram. uh, I'll be discussing everything, but you will be drawing. I'll also draw this. I'll also draw the diagram, but for the first time, we are looking just, let's see what all are the different things here. Okay. So I hope the labeling part of the first figure, all of you are clear. Anyone having any doubts in the labeling part of the first one?
No, sir.
Oh, sir.
Okay. So I hope even if some part is covered, you will be able to get it. So this was your sclera. This is your iris. Now this is our eye, which we have taken out of the skull. And now this portion is the front of the eye. This is the front of eye. This portion is the front. We are observing the eye from the side. So when we observe our eye from the side, so what are the things that we see here? We see here the sclera. See the white portion, that's the sclera, which you see here everywhere around the eye. Can you see here the white lining around the eye?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that white lining around the eye is the sclera. Then you have conjunctiva. So conjunctiva is a tissue which protects the eye. It's a thin layer, thin transparent layer which protects the eye and the eye lens. Okay. So conjunctiva, the outer layer is the conjunctiva. Then inside that outer layer, you have a layer, a white layer, that is your sclera. Now, behind the sclera or underneath the sclera, you will find your eye lens. So, a very important portion here is your eye lens. So, this is your eye lens. Uh, okay, let me just draw it again. So, if I draw here, this is our eye lens. So, our eye lens is a convex lens, and above the eye, you can see here you have iris, cornea, pupil, which is a small opening over there in the iris. Iris is the portion which controls the opening and closing of the pupil. So you have the pupil, iris, cornea, the outer portion which cuts off the amount intensity of light that enters our eye. So cornea cuts out the intensity of light that enters our eye. Then after cornea, in the inner portion, you observe here an aqueous humor and the vitreous humor. Okay. Aqueous humor is here on the outside of the lens. You have the aqueous humor, and in the inside of the eye, you have the vitreous humor or vitreous body. So, vitreous humor or vitreous body is a jelly-like substance with which our eye is filled. So, this provides a proper optical density to the eye. It provides a weight to the eye. Then you have some nerve fibers which are attached to the retina. See the retina, you can see at the retina to which some optical fibers or nerve fibers are attached. So I think in this diagram, you can see a colorful picture, but still the things are not quite clear to you. Okay, so let us draw a diagram of the human eye to represent the different things. Let's see how can we draw the diagram. Shall we start drawing? Yes, shall we start drawing the diagram? See here, if you draw the diagram, so we start out drawing our eye lens, which is a convex lens. Then this convex lens is held with our eye with the help of certain muscles. So those muscles, they are called ciliary muscles. Then from the ciliary muscles, they are attached to the eyeball. Ciliary muscles, they are attached to the eyeball. Then outermost structure you have your cornea. So cornea is the one which cuts off the amount of light that enters our eye. You have your iris, which is the colored portion, and iris is the colored portion here that controls the opening and closing of the pupil. So how much of the pupil will be open? Our iris is like a diaphragm. Okay. So iris is like a diaphragm. It controls how much of the pupil will be open. So that means it will control how much of the light enters our eye. If I draw it like this, so this is okay. So this is your iris. And in between the iris, you have a small opening. That small opening observed as the black colored spot, that is pupil. Got it? So what is the function of pupil? Yes, can anyone tell the function of pupil? Oh. Yes, anyone can tell the function of pupil?
It controls the amount of light entering.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
controls the amount of light entering our eye. Then our retina. A very important part is our retina here. So this I am drawing our retina. So our retina is, it is a layer of sensitive tissue, and the tissue of which it is made up of, this tissue responds to the tissue of which the retina is made up of. These are the cells which respond to light. Our skin cells do not respond to light. Okay? But these cells, they can respond to light, and they form the complete retina. Then optical nerves, they are attached to this retina, and they bring about the sensory information from this retina to the optic nerve. So here you have the optic nerve. This is the optic nerve. Now, pupil, cornea, this is our eye lens. Then you have vitreous humor. This portion is filled with a fluid called aqueous humor. You have this retina, and then you have your a yellow spot. I'll be labeling each of them. You can start making the diagram. And this point is called as the dark spot or black spot. So let's label all of them. This is our retina. This represents the yellow spot. This is your vitreous humor. And this is our blind spot or dark spot. So this is the blind spot. See, the blind spot does not contain uh, any cells of the retina. There is no portion of the retina which is present at the blind spot. Okay. So retina it mainly consists of two types of cells, the rod cells and the cone cells. So the name rod cell and the cone cell, it is given on the basis of the shape of the cells which are present. Our retina consists of rod cells and cone cells. Rod cells and cone cells. Got it? Yes.
Yes.
So let's label all the diagram, all the portions of this diagram. Whenever in the exam you are asked about the human eye diagram, so this is the diagram that you will be drawing, not the previous one. See, this portion is your iris. In the previous diagram, you observe the colored portion. This colored portion is the iris. See, the red colored portion which you see everywhere, that is the iris. It is a diaphragm. Okay, so if the diaphragm stretches, it will make the pupil small. If the diaphragm contracts, if the iris contract, so it will make the pupil bigger. Got it? So same is here. If this diaphragm contracts, so it will make the pupil bigger, and if it stretches, so it will make the pupil smaller. This is our pupil. This is a small opening. Now eye lens. This is our cornea. And this is aqueous humor. Aqueous humor. Got it? Now the working of the human eye we will see in the next class. For now, we just stop with the structure of the human eye. Okay. So for today, we have done the structure of the human eye, and we have done about the waveguide, that is the different components of the light. So anyone having doubt regarding any of these?
No, sir.
Okay. So in our next class, we will start again with the human eye. So for your homework, you just need to draw a human eye. Draw and label the diagram of human eye. Okay, bye everyone. See you in next class.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye.